thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Oh,
Oh.
nope, that's not applause. Hey, there we go.
I think the other song was better.
It was
The
like,
dead silence. Oh, beautiful.
yeah. It's Wednesday. It's 3 p.m. That means it's time for Jewelry This Way Live. I'm Brian.
I'm Drew.
We're back.
We do it every week, every Wednesday at 3.
You know. So
time to talk about some movies.
It sure is.
And
yeah.
some jewelry.
And some jewelry. So it's it's been fun. Yeah. It's been a busy ass week in the workshop as usual. You
nonstop.
know. Just nonstop.
I feel like it's gonna be nonstop till we get through conference.
Absolutely.
And then nonstop after conference.
Yeah. Absolutely true. But all kinds of fun new things.
So many fun.
Did we
things.
Release those new?
Oh, they just got released like 30 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah. Make sure you check our page because we just dropped some new displays that I think you're really gonna.
Oh, they're so
flip
fun.
Out on.
They're magnetized.
Oh, yeah, we have some right next to us. They're really
great.
cool. They're super fun.
They're so
like little mini versions of our mixtape displays. But they click together and they're phenomenal. Go check those out on the page after you listen to all this stuff. Yeah. So I guess we should just go ahead and get into this then.
I think definitely. Today's is
it's
fun.
phenomenal. So we got a special guest with us today, and I think you're going to love hearing about this movie because it's phenomenal. So we'll be right back.
One of them is old, the other is not. Let's pop in the tape and give it a shot. It's time for Retro Reactions with Drew and Bryan.
Today's movie is one of those rare ones where it doesn't matter how many times you've seen it, you still get pulled in immediately. And we're talking about the movie Back to the Future.
Time travel, DeLoreans, hoverboards. Well, you know, the movie basically shaped what people think time travel even is.
Right. And somehow it's still like really, really tight as a movie, like structurally. This movie is almost annoyingly perfect. And it bothers me.
Right. But also joining us today, we have our guest, Rob. Rob picked this one out for us, which is super exciting. Great movie choice.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about your who you are, where you're from, where you work at.
Rob, I'm currently in Arlington, Texas, originally from St. Louis. Been piercing for almost 15 years now. Currently at Urban's Tattoo and Piercing South.
Excellent. That's awesome. And give me like a brief history of your relationship with this movie, like the first time you saw it, or did it grow on you? Did you immediately love it?
It honestly, it just feels like it just existed. I feel like it just, like I became a person, and then this has just been there at all times. So much so, like you are not able to watch movies without seeing references to it, seeing nods to it. You know, like you mentioned earlier, like in the back in time, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm a huge Marvel fan. They mention it, time travel in Marvel movies. Like people who know me know I have 2 dogs, and they are named Huey Lewis, and the other is named The News. So
that's amazing.
As a pair, it's that's music I used to love growing up with. I'm like, oh man, it's just such a feel good movie. But again, it's everywhere. For me, it's like how are you not aware of this movie?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
It's always been around. It was out way before I even was.
It was, yeah, before you were even thought of.
Yeah, I wasn't even a concept.
So this movie came out in 1985. We've got Christopher Lloyd. We got Michael J. Fox. Yeah, it's got a great cast. Leah Thompson's in it.
Steven Spielberg directed it.
Yeah, it's wild. So we open up with the iconic tracking shot through Doc Brown's lab, which is just bonkers. There are clocks everywhere, including, did you notice the Kit Kat clocks at the beginning?
I didn't.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to have to go back and
yeah.
I'm going to have to see that.
I have a small obsession with these Kit Kat clocks that hang on the wall, and the tail goes back and forth and the eyes move back and forth. And I have like a side business where I repaint and sculpt them and make them into different characters and creatures and stuff like that. So I saw those and I was like, that is really cool. And there was an owl one and there was a dog one.
They did that April Fool's with the dog one.
Right?
And I've been wanting one since I saw that.
Yeah. But anyhow, I think that scene just lets us know, Doc is obsessed with time, right?
It gives you a little bit of foreshadowing, I would say.
Yeah.
You get that little detail, 1 clock with the guy hanging off of it. It's not that random. It's more like visual storytelling all throughout.
Yep. And then we meet Marty McFly, who's played by Michael J. Fox. And I guess right away you kind of understand him. He's late, he's scrambling, but he's somehow super confident still.
I mean, confident enough to plug up that amp, that massive speaker, and nuke the room and himself.
Right?
Absolutely blows up in his face.
Which I don't know if you noticed this, Rob. Do you get, maybe this was me just linking up weird things, but I felt like it looked like that old Magnavox commercial where the guy sits down in his, his seat and he turns on the TV and it's just like blaring crazy at him. That's kind of the vibe I got from this when he hit that guitar and the speaker shot him across the room.
Oh,
Did you grab that, or was that just me?
That. I was kind of getting, for me, I kind of got more like Twisted Sister, like Dee Snider, like that music video where like the dad comes running in, just like the music's blasting. Like that was kind of more the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
But I mean, still, I feel like every kid that you wanted to be, or you kind of thought hopefully you maybe were.
Yes. Okay.
I remember when I was learning how to play music, and I always wanted it as loud as humanly possible.
Of course, yeah.
So like that was really my feeling on it. I was like, yeah, loud music, let's go.
Yep. And now I have tinnitus.
Like, I'm sorry.
Oh man. Yeah, right. We find out a little bit about the McFly family, right? And
depressing to say the least.
Yeah, super depressing, right?
Dad's kind of a sad little guy.
Oh man, completely defeated. And his mom, who's played by Leah Thompson, is just bitter as hell and drinking constantly.
And then you have Biff, who's just like blatantly a giant bully
in his own house,
like not even trying to hide it, just bullying people for the fun of it.
Yeah. It's important because this movie isn't just a time travel movie, right? It's about fixing your family's trajectory, right? So do you think Marty understands how bad his situation is, or do you think he's just used to it? Like, do you think he's self-aware of his family situation?
I feel like in that moment, he's not so much so. But the thing that I really kind of enjoy about the movie is because it almost feels more about a movie about George. Because as the movie progresses, not to try to get too far ahead of it, but you kind of see where Marty thinks he's cool. He thinks he's this, he's into rock music, and he's just like, oh, I'm just struggling. I'm just kind of nervous about this. And as the movie progresses, he sees himself like almost parallel to younger George. And I feel like that's kind of the cool story of it all. Like he almost realizes how much this is, it's about him and his dad, very similar in the stories of his dad. And I feel like it's kind of a story of like family trauma where it's like you can kind of come of that.
Yeah.
And again, like you said, he doesn't realize it maybe then in that moment, but I think it's later as the movie's progressing and he's experiencing these things that he thinks are just uniquely his own experiences that, oh, no, 20 years ago, my dad experienced the exact same thing.
That's a good take. Yeah, that's really good.
I hadn't even considered that, but no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I've always thought it was a story about George, like the entire time. Like the comeuppance is George, the underdog is George. Everything is through the lens of George, or it's George just through the lens of Marty.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. Interesting.
I didn't even clock that. That makes so much sense now, though. Yeah. I'm like rethinking the whole movie from this point of view, and I like that. I like that even more, I think.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up, we meet Doc, who's played by Christopher Lloyd. He's in the Twin Pines Mall parking lot, right? And
just that immediate chaotic energy of a mad scientist we all know and love.
Yes. But the DeLorean reveal, still one of the coolest introductions ever.
Iconic.
Yes.
Fun fact, there was almost a refrigerator instead of a car.
Really?
Yeah. They were thinking about doing a fridge instead of a car. I don't know why. The car's so much cooler.
Would have been a terrible idea. Kids would have mimicked it and tried to climb into the fridges, and then they would have died.
Like this movie is sponsored by GE.
Yes, yeah.
That might be why they didn't do that.
I feel like, imagine just like
and stitched washer dryer situation.
Yeah, imagine just like a bunch of people who just love Whirlpool instead of like DeLorean.
Gotta love DeLorean a little more.
Yeah, Whirlpool needs to step it up with their sponsorships. Apparently,
they gotta get on top of it.
A couple years ago for APP conference, I wanted to get a DeLorean to have at our booth as just like a prop type thing. And so I found there is a place in Las Vegas that rents DeLoreans for this type of reason. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's run this shit, right? It was going to be like 10 grand for like 2 days to have it there because they would bring it in, but there's like all these rules about like there can only be so much fuel inside of the tank when it's brought inside the building. And then like no one's allowed to touch it. So you have to pay for a full-time person that's on staff by them just to watch the car to make sure no one touches it. So no one could sit in it or anything. It didn't seem worth the money, but I thought it was neat that you could actually rent a DeLorean.
Was it like just any any random DeLorean, or was it like actually?
No,
like
it was all decked out. It was decked out like
okay,
the movie.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, man, just like a DeLorean, sure. Like, damn.
No.
Yeah. Not knowing that it's decked out, I feel like that's not too bad of a price point.
Yeah, it would have been worth it if people could have sat in it. Like if everyone could have gotten a photo op inside of it, I might have sprung for it. But the fact that you could just stand next to it.
Boo. Let me in the car.
Like, yeah, you want the experience. Sit down, like driver's seat, have the thing behind you. Like, yeah, you want the whole experience if you're gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Next year.
Yes, maybe.
Next year.
So with the DeLorean, obviously it's the time machine, and we learn about the time travel rules at this point. Doc explains the rules to us. He tells us 88 miles per hour, 1.21 gigawatts, and flux capacitor. I think those are the big takeaways, right?
As far as I know, he's. The thing is, they make the movie really complicated with the sci-fi feel simple. So they're like, here's all these complicated things, and we're just going to simplify it real simple for you. But we're just going to throw in like random metrics just to get you.
It works.
For me, that's
doesn't bog you down. Yeah,
that's just how arbitrary it is. Like, like speed, you can't go over 50 miles per hour. It's like, why that particular speed? Is that a certain gear shift? Like, what is this?
No, it's just trust us. It's just how it works.
The director's favorite number, maybe.
Oh man. So then we get like the weird time jump thing. The shooting happens.
So much. All because Doc stole some plutonium.
Right? Which is such a wild plot point, that the movie just throws at you and moves on. It's just like, oh yeah, Doc stole plutonium. No big deal.
We're gonna just shoot him. Marty's gonna panic. We're gonna hit 88 miles an hour, and boom, we've time traveled.
Yeah.
1955.
So I may be off in this, but I remember seeing something in like a film class where they had mentioned like the first 30 minutes of a movie you're supposed to establish what is, and then like the rest of the movie is like how it's changing, the journey you have to go through. And I always felt that scene was very abrupt, and I was like, if I remember correctly, that happens almost within 20 minutes of the movie starting, where it's like, yeah, he stole the plutonium, then all of a sudden the Libyans are here, and there's all this, this very weird caricature of Libyans come in. And I remember being like, this felt so abrupt. And as like now that I'm older, I'm like, oh, I think that might have been much sooner than like the established 30-minute time frame that most movies have kind of stuck to.
Right.
Interesting.
Huh. I'm gonna look at the first 30 minutes different now in all these movies.
Yeah. You've analyzed this in a whole different way than we have, and I like it. So,
I mean, so the reason I responded to this is because I used to really enjoy movies in general. It's like it's a big part of like growing up. It was like I have a hard time not having a memory and having some level of a movie associated to it. So I've always just kind of enjoyed different stuff, like different aspects of it, behind the scenes stuff. I've always enjoyed the special features of movies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm always like, why is this? Why is that? And then with like classics like this, it feels like a perfect movie. So it's like, cool, here's all these small little tidbits that like people just kind of broke down like in such a micro focus. And so that kind of part was always enjoyable to me too.
Nice. I like it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I've done that with some like really old movies. Like whenever I watch like old Shakespeare films, I'll like break them down really intense, but I've never thought to do it with like newer movies. It's like, what is there to break down? But no, there's a lot. Like,
next time you watch like National Lampoon's Vacation, you're going to see a whole other movie.
I'm going to have to rewatch it just for that now. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Hell yeah. It's a great movie.
It is. God, I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah. Well, Back to the Future, right? Back to the Past. It always works. It doesn't work with me. Anyhow, we're back in 1955 now, right? Time travel's happened. We're in 1955. Everything is slightly off. Yeah, it's weird now.
It feels like familiar, but different. The town squares, the car, the people. Something feels like more optimistic almost.
Yeah, like the theater is actually a theater and not like an adult theater anymore. And then Marty runs into his dad, but as a teenage version of his dad. So that was like what Rob brought up, where he starts to realize, oh, okay, this is what's up. Yeah.
That scene, I feel, is like almost quintessentially the movie, because when Biff comes in and says McFly, they both turn the exact same way in unison. They have like the same almost like nervous look on their face, and again, that's the scene that's repeated that you kind of meet in the very beginning when you see like older Biff and older George. And I was like, for this, because I think someone else had mentioned to me where they're like, oh yeah, there's not a wasted scene in this movie. Everything is a setup for something else later, or it's meant to be like an homage to something else, or meant to be like a nod to something coming up. And the whole Biff McFly, like, or, knocking on his head and everything, like, what if you're a younger sibling, you experience that, unfortunately. I'm the oldest, so I'm the one who did it, unfortunately. But I mean, like, again, like that was almost a complete parallel to an earlier scene, and I kind of loved that.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Well, we do have a problem, though, and it's that Marty accidentally interferes with the parents' meeting.
You know, leading to one of the most uncomfortable plot points, in my opinion. His mom falling in love with him. That was crazy.
And this movie commits to that.
Just a little bit. Just a little.
Does that storyline work for you, or does it get like weirder the older you get? Because it definitely gets weirder for me the older I get.
I felt like I totally understood it when I was younger, and now that I'm older, I'm like, that is definitely the most uneasy part of it all. Like, Sigmund Freud would have loved this movie.
Yeah, I think we could go down a whole other conspiracy rabbit hole on this one that I'm not going to go down.
I think when I was younger, I didn't realize how into him the mom was. And now that I'm an adult, I realize.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
The Calvin Klein reference really creeps me out now.
What's that?
The Calvin Klein reference like totally creeps me out now.
Hilarious. Right? So watching this again last night, I had not watched this since I was probably in my early teens, maybe. So it's been a while since I've seen it. And I'm watching it and I'm like, she said Calvin Klein was a designer in 1985 and popular and people knew that? Because I grew up in a very small farm town community in the middle of Illinois. So anything trendy took about 20 years to reach us. So I never heard of Calvin Klein until I was damn near in high school.
Said Calvin who?
Yeah, I'm like, Calvin who? What? So anyhow,
you know, they were just on top of their trends.
That's
really what it was.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like a little small little like nod to be like, oh, that's how cool Marty thinks he is. That he's trying to up and up with like the even fashion.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yet his mom is all like, yeah, everyone writes their name in their underwear.
It's still creepy.
It's
so creepy. It is. Yeah, this movie is very 80s. So Marty ends up finding young Doc, and then this is where the movie like really starts locking in.
Right, and that's where you get like the really crazy Doc. His reaction to time travel is perfect. Skeptical, instantly obsessed. We really get mad scientist, which I love.
Yeah. Fun fact: the script was rejected over 40 times because studios thought it was too confusing.
Oh.
So all the best movies were.
They got there.
They did.
You know?
Maybe that's why it's like a little easier, simplified sci-fi. Said we got to uncomplicate it quickly.
Yeah. And it could be one of the reasons this movie like works so well, you know, is because there was so much revision done to it.
That's fair. I see that.
Yeah.
I was just going to say with Doc, like, I kind of love that, again, he becomes such a huge, grand archetype of like mad scientist here. Like this, like anytime you see a mad scientist, like you're seeing essentially some variation of Doc here. Like Rick and Morty is essentially exactly what this is.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that he like created his own like unique character, and now everyone's kind of trailing off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it. And you know, now we get like the real mission, which is Marty has to turn his dad into a confident person, like he is.
Because George is not.
He's just a little awkward. He's a little terrified of confrontation.
He's a peeping Tom.
Oh, a little bit.
Again, creepy, a little creepy.
Yeah. And it sets up the biggest theme of the movie, which is changing your future by changing your actions. You know, as we learn, not really the greatest thing to do. It kind of fucks up the future. So
it's not easy. And you know, Biff is like a very grounded villain. He's not trying to take over the world. He's just a bully. So.
Which makes him more believable.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Like that's someone you encounter in real life. You've got that guy that's just like mean for no reason to everyone. Like,
almost again another stereotypical bully too, if you think about it.
So,
yeah.
Yes. The pure archetype of a bully.
Yeah.
But everything gets messed up. Marty decides he's going to set up this enchantment under the sea dance plan because that's where his parents, I think they first met or first kissed or something like that back in the day. So he's trying to make that whole thing happen again.
Just a master manipulator at work.
He really
I'm
is.
gonna take this story and bring it to life.
Yeah. But he has to because he's fading out of existence. And we see that by those photographs that he's looking at. And he's just disappearing, you know?
It's
weird.
Effect. His siblings disappear. It's
creepy.
It's so creepy.
Yeah. But it's a good visual effect for, you know, like you're running out of time.
And it's a reference we see a lot after this movie.
Yeah.
I've seen it in many places since then.
Yep. So the dance happens. Everything starts going to shit, right?
You know, Biff shows up. He ruins things in Biff fashion.
But George finally stands up for himself, and he goes over there, and even though he thinks that he's going to punch someone else, he punches Biff and knocks him the fuck out.
Turning point of the entire movie right there. He's done it.
Yeah.
It was his
Do you think George's transformation... What's that?
It was his comeuppance. That was the comeuppance right there.
He had to do it.
Yeah.
It had to happen. And he did it. I was so excited when it happened.
I was so shocked that he did it too. You know,
I felt like I forgot that ever happened originally when I first watched it.
Yeah, I cheered him on a little bit, in all honesty.
Wow.
So
got excited.
I remember that scene was really like crucial, but I remember the scene that I feel was more like, oh wow, was afterwards where they're in the dance and they're dancing. I think it was a little redhead kid came up. He's like, "Excuse me," and butts over and like knocks him off and starts dancing. You're like, "Oh wow, that was just a one-off situation. He's actually not that brave. Like it just worked out that one time because he was in danger himself, you know." And then he stands up for himself again, and that's where I was like, "Okay, you got it. This is his story. This is about him."
Some changes.
Yeah, like that change was for him too.
Yep. We also have the iconic thing of Marty getting on stage and playing Johnny Be Good. And we find out that not only is he this weird ass high school kid, he's also like the world's greatest guitar player.
You know,
like he shreds
rock music in this timeline.
Yeah, it's just weird. See, like it's an odd characteristic, I think, for them to put on him. Like it'd be one thing if he was in high school and he was like, oh, like he's like first chair trumpet in the band or something. But like, no, he's like a fucking rock god. Like he is shredding this guitar like no one else can. And I don't know.
He's just good.
He's just a prodigy, apparently.
Gotta get better.
Yeah.
Well, I feel the thing I liked about that was, again, more parallels because earlier when Marty finds out that George writes these stories and all that stuff, he's like, I didn't know you write. And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, I can't publish it because what if someone doesn't like and thinks I'm a failure and all these things? And he's like, oh, I get it. Because you kind of see that's the earlier scene where he has that same thoughts, essentially, when it comes to his music. He kind of watches his dad do something and like stand up for himself and like do something for himself. And then so he gets on stage and kind of almost does the same thing for himself in regards to music because he already had that failed scene in the very beginning where he kind of bailed on stage.
You're right.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, it felt like there was not a single scene in this entire movie that was wasted for again, another nod, a betterment of the storyline later on. Again, there was not a single wasted scene in this movie.
You're right. Yeah. I didn't even connect those two. Because in the beginning, I was like, yeah, he is good at playing. he just like fully ripped it on that stage.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they full circled that. I like that. I'm glad you mentioned that.
It reminds me of, there's a movie that came out a few years ago called Yesterday, where this guy like wakes up back in time, but he knows like all of the Beatles songs, but no one's ever heard of the Beatles before. So he can like, it's not a really good movie, to be honest, but the premise is neat. Yeah. So...
No, I like that movie. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So fast forward past the dance. We're racing the clock. Like literally, there's this lightning strike plan happening.
I mean, like the clock tower is the only way for Marty to get home. Everything that can go wrong
does. As usual.
You know?
Yeah. I don't
Doc reconnecting the cable, Marty racing towards the wire, you know, the most perfectly paced of climaxes, I think, for a movie. They really had it like now.
Yeah. And thankfully, Marty makes it back to 1985. So spoiler alert, y'all. Things are different, though, because he changed the course of history, right?
Yeah. I mean, family's a bit more successful. Dad is definitely more confident.
And Biff is waxing their car in the driveway. Oh, I love that. Love that. I love that. And he's not even doing a good job, too. Like, George calls him out, and he's like, hey, don't be taking shortcuts, bro. I already see you lying to me. And he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, George. Like, no. It was good. I enjoyed that. I think a lot of this movie is bringing up, like, childhood bullying to me and seeing, like, the revenge that's gotten. And I'm just like, yes, like...
It's possible.
8-year-old me is real excited about this.
One thing I loved about that, though...
In the future?
Well, the thing I love most about that is because it almost kind of shows you who George is as a person. Because he's this kind of nerdy, kind of shy, meek kind of person. And then when he actually has the movie flips, and they're back in the future or back in the present, I guess at this point now, and Biff is answering to him. He's not abusing Biff. Yeah, sure, he's being snappy and he's being a bit more matter of fact now because he has more confidence, of course. But he's not by in turn being like the asshole that Biff was to him.
No.
And again, that's why I'm like, I feel like this movie is about George, and that's why I was like, it's his comeuppance, and then his peak and climax to the story was still him being a good guy and still like not almost having that revenge that I feel I probably would have wanted to have had it been me.
Right? He has amazing character development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like truly, and he's got the most character development out of any of the characters for being like a side character.
Yep.
Even though I would have to agree with you now that we've talked about it, that he's really more of a main character and more story focused about him. Makes sense.
Yeah.
And and then Doc comes back from the future. He's alive.
Because Marty warned him, put that letter in his pocket, right?
He let him know.
Let him know what was up.
Just gotta slip that in there. And then they're off to the future.
And the Doc gives us that great line at the end, which the where we're going. We don't need roads.
Yeah.
So
did y'all see the small little nod to the twin? Was it Twin Pine Mall?
Yes. Yeah.
Right at like the end.
Yeah, where he knocked over the pine as he came in, or went back to the future, then came back and it was just a solo pine.
Actually, I did not catch that.
Oh, for real?
It was weird. It was weirdly there, and I was like, I feel like something's very different about this now.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but you're right.
Yeah, because when the movie starts, it's called Twin Pine, if I remember correctly. And then when he goes back to the future, or he goes back to the past, and like kind of the car crashes, he knocks over one of the pines, and so when he goes back to the present, and it's like everything's changed now. It shows. I think it's called like Solo Pine or One Pine, because there's now one tree got knocked over.
They lost a pine.
I like it.
They have to fix it.
Again, small little nods. Like again, it's so cool how much they do it all with that.
They're very detailed with like their background work as well throughout all of this. Like there's nothing, there's always something happening, and it's always relevant to what's actively going to happen. I really like the way that they foreshadowed a lot of this movie. They did a great job with that.
They really did.
Genuine classic.
I have a conspiracy angle though.
Okay, let's go.
All right. Here's my theory. Marty is creating an alternate timeline where he actually replaces a version of himself that grew up with successful parents.
Okay, so this is not our original Marty anymore.
No, he benefits from a life that he never even lived.
Oh. I mean, I think that could be a happy ending. Maybe a little disturbing.
Where's the next? Where's this timeline?
Where they had to get rid of him.
What's that?
So where's this timeline's Marty?
Right?
No one knows.
Where'd he go?
And who actually wrote Johnny Be Good?
I saw
question
because I got curious and I did some just some research, like, what were like some people's opinions of the movie and all that kind of stuff, and you definitely hear some opinions that I'm like, okay, cool, eye roll or whatever the case might be. But one of the ones that I kind of saw that was a bit of an eye roll was they were like, oh well, this is just another example of white people going back and then taking over black culture, because in that scene it was a black band that was making the music and said, oh, look at this thing, and that it had to be a white man that inspired a black musician in regards to that the music wasn't truly theirs.
And
I mean, it was a song that existed technically already, so he was just replaying it. So
but back in 1955 that song had never actually existed yet. He was the first one to play it, which is like, well, did he actually come up with that song? We don't know.
There's no way.
I mean, we know he didn't.
There was someone that was actively writing that song going, what the hell? Mad. Just angry. And I can't say I blame him. But the movie works. It's funny. It's emotional. It's fun all around, I would say.
It doesn't treat the audience as if they're idiots, which I really like. It doesn't over-explain. Things connect, but it doesn't have to be spelled out to you.
That's true.
I like it.
And as Rob said, there are no wasted scenes. Like, genuinely, there are not. Especially as we've talked about it more, I have had more connections this entire time happening.
I have a hard time talking about this movie without talking about the music too, though, because Huey Lewis in the News is genuinely
so good. Yeah.
Incredible. That's why I named my dogs after them, is because their music is just in totality incredible.
Yeah.
They really did. They did a great job with the music.
So they had two on this one. I think it was The Power of Love and Back in Time, I think, were the two singles they actually had for this movie.
Yeah. I liked it. And again, it's been a long time since I've seen this. I didn't realize that they did a lot of the soundtrack for this. And whenever I think of Huey Lewis, I instantly think of American Psycho.
Yeah.
Because it was used so prevalently in that movie. I wonder if there's connections between like if people have linked up like Back to the Future universe and American Psycho universe to see if there's like an overlap. I'm gonna have to Google that.
There's a Reddit
shared universe. That'd be crazy.
There's gotta be. Yeah.
Well, I loved how like integral that. I mean, not to get too much on the sidetrack of that, but how integral Huey Lewis News was to that story in regards to Psycho, or American Psycho. Like that. Again, they are a part of the story. And I feel like in this instance with Back to the Future, it's just more their music enhances it, but also kind of gives you Huey Lewis is quintessential the 80s. Like when you listen to music, you're not thinking modern day. You're thinking like this is a quintessential 80s rock band.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you read the American Psycho book, there is like a good couple of chapters where it's just nothing but like in-depth analyzation of Huey Lewis songs. It's like the most dull chapters of the book, but like it's a lot. It's a lot. That book is fucked up.
Huh.
It's fucked up by today's standards, and it was written in like 82 or 83.
Something like that.
That's a whole other podcast.
Add that to my TBR.
Bring it back for that one. I'm willing to come back for that one.
Okay. Well, when we start doing early 2000s movies to name the jewelry, then we'll have an American Psycho piece.
I'm trying so hard to get us into the 90s.
I know you are.
I want to watch some of these 90s movies.
We're just not done with the 80s yet.
We're not. There's so many 80s movies still.
So, okay, questions for Rob. Rapid fire. We already know. Favorite character, George, probably?
Yep, George.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Favorite scene in the movie?
I hate Manar. Like the end when like he gets in the car crash. Just like for me, like I found out what a vocals like the terminology vocal stem, and I was like, oh yeah, Manar. Like the way he says manure, and I was like, that's it. I hate Manar. Just like this, he just says Manar like 4 or 5 times is incredible. And for me, for some reason, I just think that scene is so funny to me because like you had this whole action scene of the skateboard and like going through the town, and then the Manar thing happens. It just felt like it was a great cap to it.
Yeah, agreed.
That's fair.
Do you think this movie holds up for first-time viewers today?
100%.
I think we can all agree it probably does.
Yeah. Again, I would say maybe there might be a bit of like a small little asterisk of being like, hey, there's a couple things that we get it, we're not okay with, or still maybe we're treated maybe a bit too lightly at the time, but it's still, there is no like, oh, someone gets away with it necessarily. Like there is, again, comeuppance, there's lessons to be learned, there's, you have some confidence in yourself, learn to trust yourself, learn to believe in yourself type of thing. So things change. So there's no one evil, purely evil, just gets away with being evil, it feels like.
True.
Fair.
Okay, and then what's your opinion on the sequels? Good? Not good? I love 2.
2 is great, but I feel like it was still a bit of a step. If the first one was like 100, 2 was like 88%. And then the third, it was like, man, it didn't even feel the same. It felt like you guys were just trying to hold on to like the money coming into it. So it's one of the things that whenever you compare trilogies, I feel like if we're going by the standard that the first one holds the weight of the entire trilogy, still incredible. But if we're talking about how like equality across all of the trilogy entries, this one definitely is slacking. I feel it just tapers off pretty severely in the third.
That's fair.
Agreed.
I saw something about them coming out with a 4th one with Tom Holland as I was trying to find the movie to stream it, and I was like, I think we needed to be done after the 3rd one. We could have been done before that. The 2nd one was great. I remember liking that a lot. I want to go back and watch it again since I've rewatched this one.
Also, Tom Holland is an incredible Spider-Man. Unfortunately, he's not the best actor. Like at least, and not even my opinion. It's if you look at his box office, anything that hasn't been Spider-Man, he has not done that well.
Right? He's had some like other good little like indie films here and there, but no one talks about them, and it drives me kind of crazy. He did like one with like a tsunami, and I enjoyed that one, but that was more of a drama, and no one I've talked to has seen it.
I remember in an interview, because I remember not to get too far into that side of it all, but during some of the controversy of like Sony and Marvel's type of stuff, he had mentioned that one of his real goals in his career was to have like a very similar trajectory of Michael J. Fox, and he wanted to be like his generation's like person, how Michael J. Fox was viewed as his career was up and coming. Tom Holland wanted that similar trajectory and wanted to like, oh, I want to have this like, these roles, these things, and he felt that was his Spider-Man role. Was same for Marty McFly for Michael J. Fox.
Interesting.
Good for him. I'm so happy he got Spider-Man, honestly. Like Tom
He's a
Holland,
great Spider-Man.
He's
great.
Amazing Spider-Man. I'm so down with him being a Spider-Man.
I just feel like, and again, I'm not gonna sit here and dog on other actors because I can't do it. But it's just like, man, your box office is not mirroring the fame that you have from Spider-Man.
Right. Ugh. But you know, if you somehow haven't seen Back to the Future, this is a good one to fit. You might as well fix that. This is a great movie. Yeah. I think we've all agreed on that.
Or watch it again.
You might as well. It's been a long time since I had watched it. It had been at least like 10 years since I watched it. And it felt like I was watching a movie I'd never seen before. It was exciting. It was fun. There were things I didn't remember.
Yeah.
And the iconic scenes I did remember, so much better on the rewatch.
Agreed.
Loved it.
Some of my favorite things about it is like if you're in a room of like 8 people and you mention Back to the Future, most of the people in the room are like, oh my God, I love that movie, blah, blah, blah. And there's one person's like, I don't think I've seen it before. And then you have to like bully them into go watch the movie. And then they come back a week later, day later, whatever, like, that was so good. You're like, right? That was so great. And then you're almost like reliving it with them. I kind of enjoy that much of it too.
That's fair.
Yeah, agreed.
It's
That's
a good,
why we do
bring
this.
People together movie.
Yeah.
Now we've reached the part where we stick our thumbs out like this.
It's time.
And everybody votes on whether or not they like the movie. 1, 2, 3. Pew. I think we all know.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, right?
Universal.
Right. You can't go wrong.
I'd be surprised if there was a thumbs down on that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
if there was, you're wrong.
Yeah. Like, hey, let's talk. I'm not going to
Were you not here the last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us and talking with us about this movie. It was great.
Yeah, really thanks for bringing it on.
Insight and
incredible.
Yeah.
Always like you guys.
We'll have to have you back for another one.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, don't want to try to talk about the other ones, but I wouldn't mind coming back.
Cool.
We'll have you back on for something.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Welcome back.
What a great movie review. Like Rob crushed it.
Honestly, it was amazing.
So good.
It was so fun talking.
Yeah. That brought a whole new dynamic and like aspect of looking at that movie that I never really thought of before. So that was cool.
Some thinkers.
Yeah. What I have thought about before though is this piece of jewelry right above us.
Oh my gosh. Think about it so much.
This is our Back to the Future end. It's a cool little play on like a Trinity style gemstone where you've got 3 stones on there. The prong settings are a little different. You'll see that there's 2 prongs on the outside of each stone. And in the very center, there's one shared prong that all of those gems are holding. And then under a very high-powered microscope with very tiny little bitty tools, I make a little hole in that center prong there and inlay a tiny 0.6 millimeter diamond.
The tiniest
little thing ever. But these look fire. They're so cool looking. I love them.
And you think they're a Trinity. They're really 4 stones, which is even more fun. And the light bounces around so much because of it. That tiny little diamond in the center just shines.
Yeah,
it's
so
amazing.
much. It's a really cool piece. These ones, I think they have like maybe 2 millimeter gems on the outside. So they're fairly they're nice a low profile. They're small. Yeah, they look really cool everywhere. But they're super unique. You're never going to see anything else like this anywhere else. Because it's a unique piece that we make. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The other neat thing is you can save 10% off if you want to get some of these. You would use the coupon code that you see above us. That is Flux Capacitor is the power. And I know that's a mouthful and that's hard to say. But on the Nintendo, the original Nintendo, there were Back to the Future video games, and the second and the third movie were on the same cartridge, and you had to play through the second one in order to get to the third one, or you could put in a cheat code. And if you did the cheat code, Flux Capacitor is the power, it would take you to the third game. And I remember as a child always being like, I know what the code is, but how do you spell capacitor? Could never use it.
A good way to keep the kids from jailbreaking things.
Pretty
complicated
much.
spelling.
Yeah.
I would have never got in.
Nope. So I should play it again as an adult because I don't know if I've ever actually played the third one. So
maybe that's what we'll be doing later today.
Possible. But check out the website, jewelrythisway.com. We got all kinds of new stuff on there and old stuff that's still awesome too. Pick up some of those Back to the Future ends.
Yes, and get you some little new displays to go with them.
Yep. And don't forget to use that coupon code at checkout. You'll save 10% off of those Back to the Future ends. And there's no limit on those. About it. You can get as many as you want. So that is for wholesale only. So retail customers, that does not apply, but we appreciate you guys watching it for sure. If you happen to miss a lot of this live stream today and you want to see it again, check it out on our YouTube page. It's at Jewelry This Way over there as well. And we repost all of the movie reviews that we do over there so you can watch them at your convenience. If you do check those out, give us a thumbs up. Click the bell, do something, like and subscribe, or whatever that is.
You guys. Also, if y'all want to come on and you want to talk about your favorite 80s movie,
we'd love to have
let us know. We're looking for guests. You guys can come hang out with us.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching, and until next week, we'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye.